Welcome. Today we're looking at what people in your life love about you. We're going to talk about what makes you special to the people around you. And before I show you these options up close, I just want to say thank you to everyone here, especially the regulars and those of you who have left really sweet and kind and funny comments. It reminds me that I'm not just speaking to the void out here. So your support means a lot to me and you're very dearly appreciated. So let's get into your options today. For group 1, we have citrine and we are using the Pause Tarot. For group 2, we have Smithsonite and we are using the Desert Illuminations Tarot. For group 3, we have this little disco ball, and we are using the Kawaii Tarot today. Okay, you can choose more than one group if you're drawn to more than one today. It's possible there are messages for you in multiple groups. Take all the time you need to choose. Meet me in your reading or your readings when you're ready. Hi, group 1. You chose the Citrine and the Pause Tarot. Welcome to your reading. We're looking at what people in your life love about you and how your presence makes them feel. So I've given this deck a good shuffle. So we're ready to go. I want to look at how people in your life see you and your energy. If it doesn't connect, choose another group and see if you can find your reading there. We'll look at the qualities people admire in you, what you give to others that they appreciate, and how your impact makes people feel. Okay, so let's get into it. We have the Sun and the Tower. Okay. Well, I was kind of feeling like this was going to be my spicier group, and I'm still feeling that way. Okay, so we have these really interesting dual energies here, light and dark, and not that people see you as dark. So we'll get into this, but I think that people see you as cute. We have this unicorn. So you could be into unicorns. You may wear a lot of pastels, maybe or maybe not, but I don't know. The unicorn's really calling my name here. But I think that people see you as very energetic. Whether or not you feel tired, they think you have a lot of energy. They see you as passionate, as warm, as radiant, as attractive. And your personality certainly is very attractive and magnetic. I would not be surprised if there are extroverts in this group or people that really draw other people in. I do think there are some romantics here as well. So you could be very popular in the dating realm or with your romantic partner, which I hope you're popular with your romantic partner if you have one. But I have this kind of like giggly energy with you. So I think that you probably either laugh a lot, you have a really good sense of humor, whatever style that is, and you make other people laugh, whether you mean to or not, but I do think you mean to. And even if you don't mean to, I think that you find delight in other people laughing. And there's quite fiery energy here as well. And a little bit of louder energy. This doesn't have to be the case for everyone, but you might be a bit of a loud talker or you talk a lot. And it's it's how other people see you as chatty, funny, attractive, interesting. Like I said, maybe a little bit spicy and possibly a tad chaotic. I'm not saying that you are, but some people may see you that way a little bit. Like you may be very expressive. Like you may have very big expressions. You could maybe be a little bit moody where you're very happy one day and you're like cranky the next. Like maybe this shows up at work. or in other areas of your life. But I think also this is talking about maybe your hobbies or your enjoyment of certain like genres of books or movies or things like that. Like maybe that's how you connect to certain people. Like you could be in a book club or a movie club or a like a Dungeons and Dragons, or what's the other one that's like that? I haven't played those, so I don't remember, but a game group, something like this, where people see you as a lot of fun in this like hobby that you share with other people. I think that also people see you as someone that they can go to when they're experiencing tower moments, where they're experiencing big changes, big things that feel very upsetting in the moment. I think that you probably receive a good amount of like calls or texts or people coming to you for either guidance, for you to cheer them up when they're feeling down, or to remind them that everything's okay. But you do have kind of big energy. And I mean that in the sense that you're hard to ignore. You're hard to miss. It's not just the people in your life that find you to be magnetic and inspiring and big, but I think that probably other people do too, where you're not someone that's going to be in the shadows, I don't think. Although, you know, when I say that, what I mean by that is, I think you know what I mean. Like, you're not going to be a wallflower at a party. Like, you're going to be probably the life of the party. But when I mentioned shadows, you know, I'm looking at this tower card, and I think that you do bring light to people's shadows. So that's another way that people perceive you, is that and it may be uncomfortable for them, okay? But we are talking about what people love about you. So I think that there's overall an appreciation for this, but you may point things out to people that are hard for them to face at first, or that are frustrating possibly. But you may draw these things out of people. You may also be someone who helps people deal with and handle their shadows. So this could be in the realm of mental health or spiritual advisement or something of this nature. And I think that this is something that's really helpful for others. Let's talk about what qualities people admire in you. Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're getting more of your personality here. Well, you know, I'm interested in this because it's so different from this energy. So I think that, of course, we're all multifaceted. You know, you have different aspects to you, but it's interesting because something that people really admire in you is when you can be quite patient about things. But then there's a lot of impatience too. I don't know if I mentioned this when I first started the reading. I may be repeating myself, but I was getting a lot of impatient energy with you. And this isn't an accusation, and this isn't for everybody. Probably some of you are probably very patient, but it's interesting. We get this patient, impatient energy and a stubbornness. So, funny. Your energy makes me laugh, and I think it's because you're probably a really funny person. So something that people do admire in you is your stubbornness. And the way it's coming through is that you are not willing to put up with anything, or everything. So one way that I'm seeing this is that you may change jobs a lot, and not because you're constantly like getting fired and you have a terrible work ethic. I think you have a really good work ethic actually, but, it may be that you're not willing to compromise on something like pay. Like, you were promised you'd be making so-and-so by 3 months in, and you're leaving. So this may be a group of people who has gone through quite a few jobs, because that's your choice and you know what you have to offer, and you're not willing to work for less than you're worth or work under conditions that are not suitable to you, and that you're not going to accept just any offer. I think that's something that's really admirable, is that just because someone comes towards you with an offer doesn't mean you're going to take it. So This could also show up maybe in your love life. So for those of you who are single or were single for a while, just because someone came toward you and was like, do you want to go out? You're like, no, I want to go out with who I want to go out. Like, am I attracted to you? Are you interesting? Are you funny? Do you get me? Can I be myself with you? I mean, we could all take a lesson from that probably. So, I think that you're very discerning, or at least you have become very discerning over your life about who and what you're willing to put up with, move toward, and accept offers from. And that's something people learn from when they observe you and really appreciate about you. And I don't get super people-pleasy energy from you. I mean, sure, there could be a little bit of that, but I think for the most part, you could be a little maybe outspoken, or you're very clear about your opinions. Some people may think you're very opinionated. Maybe you are. I don't know. But that seems to be a quality that people really admire, is that you're not afraid to speak the truth, your truth, what you think, what you feel, what you want, what you need. And you seem to come across as someone with a strong amount of self-worth, and you come across as having a lot of confidence in yourself and your abilities and what you want in life, and that you're not going to let anyone tell you otherwise. And that, at first I was thinking Knight of Pentacles is patience, but I don't think you're the most patient person in the world. And I actually think that that's a good quality in you. And the way that this cat's eyes are like wide open, sitting on this annoyed horse, it makes me feel like when things are not going your way, when they are taking too long, this is also where your impatience comes out. It's like your eyes just get really wide and annoyed. And it's like, I can't put up with this for a second longer. And I think that people really admire your ability to make choices in your best interest, your ability to turn down things that you deem not good enough, and how you know what you want. So, in the Four of Cups, a lot of times, this cup being handed to the figure is just like these cups in the foreground. But in this one, it's different. So it's making me feel like you, this figure here, knows exactly what you want. I want a blue mug. I've already acquired 3 blue mugs because that's what I like and that's what I want. And you're offering me a yellow one? No. Like, I'm going to sit over here and do my work, but until you offer me a blue mug, you can F right off. It's that kind of energy, and it is spicy, and I like it about you. So, what do you give to others that they appreciate? The Three of Swords. And Judgment. Okay. So I think that one way in which you give to other people is you're really there for people through their heartbreak. And, this is very literal. The Three of Swords is often very much about heartbreak, but you seem to either understand when people are going through a hard time, or you are somehow someone that they can lean on, or you have kind of clarity of thought around what's going on. So if someone's really in their feelings, sometimes you can sort of divert them from being so upset by kind of helping them clear their thoughts a little bit. So if someone can't stop crying and they're really upset and they can't stop talking about what's going on, you may have this ability to bring their mind back into focus and into clarity, and kind of seeing the big picture again. So I think that you're able to help people change their perspectives, but you may also be kind of a helper or in a helping profession. Maybe you are a therapist of some kind, a counselor of some kind. But I think that when people are really worried, really sad, really angry, that kind of stuff, sometimes you're like, hey, like, let's knock you out of this. Like and it may be quite blunt at times, but I think that, you give this to people in a way that they really appreciate, and you remind them of what's really important. And we have an angel in the Judgment card. And so this also makes me think that in some ways you're a bit of an angel to people. Either you come across as kind of a guardian angel. You do have a little bit of protective energy. So that could be something that people really appreciate from you. But also angels are very healing. And so I think that you have a way of sort of healing people's heartbreak and their issues and their overthinking. Maybe you're able to snap people out of their overthinking in some way. But you seem to have an ability to heal people, and the way that it comes through is quite different than I would normally see or expect, because healing sometimes can seem like this softer energy, although I think any of us who have gone through healing of things, sometimes it doesn't feel soft as you're dealing with it. But I think your approach to helping people to heal things is a little more assertive, a little bit more direct. It kind of while I think you can be very comforting and that you may be a very good listener, I think that when you give advice, it's very forward. Is how I would put it. And it's not something people can ignore. Some people may not like it, but this is coming through as what people appreciate that you give them. And, with this 3 of Swords, with this heart being pierced by these swords, how uncomfortable, right? And in Judgment, these figures down here are typically dead bodies in coffins that are coming back to life. And so there's this feeling that people who are feeling unwell in whatever way that manifests, you're snap out of it. And not that you're telling people to snap out of it. You might be, but that your approach to helping people sometimes does snap them out of it and brings life back into them when they're dwelling, when they're overthinking, when they're upset. You have a way of, bringing their perspective back to reality a little bit. And it's nice. People are very grateful for that. I also want to say, I feel like this group has a lot of either female friends or non-male friends. People with a good amount of feminine energy, I think, are in your life and trust you, or you may have a lot of women or non-binary people in your family too. And I'm getting some energy of you being a safe place for women, people that are on the queer spectrum, people that are on the autism spectrum, all different types of people. And I do think you have very little patience for certain personalities, but people who are not always 100% approved of in our societies, or have a difficult time in the way our society works, which is a lot of people. I think that you create a safe space for them, and people feel often very understood by you, which is incredible. So let's see how your impact makes people feel. 10 of Pentacles. Oh, love to see that. And we have Strength. Okay, great. So first and foremost, I think that you make the people in your life feel very safe. I think that they feel they can come to you. There's very generous energy with this 10 of Pentacles. So I don't know if you give a lot in material ways, if you financially support people, if you support people in their dreams. I'm getting with this castle in the background, college. So I don't know if maybe you've helped people through college, or even if you are currently in college, or when you were, if you were really supportive of other people and helped them get through the experience. But also there's this sense of family with the 10 of Pentacles. And so I think that friends and family alike, the people that are in your life feel that you are family to them. So you may be a lot of people's chosen family. You may be very close to some of your family members, but it does feel like there's a loyalty to you. You make people feel loyal to you. And you may also be a very loyal person, but it seems like there are a lot of loyalties in your corner, and that the way that you make people feel is safe, and you are someone that they can count on. You are comforting in certain ways. And while I do get energy of this group being activating in certain ways, like you may activate some people and they may be very frustrated at times or that kind of thing. I think that overall people know they can rely on you, but also, when I said activating, it also made me think that you might activate things in people that are for their best interests as well. So like you could say the thing that makes people feel like they could follow their dream. You may say the thing that makes people feel like they have the strength to move towards something they want. Again, I really get this energy of a good amount of women being in your life and relying on you, regardless of your gender. People feel more abundant having you in their life. They may feel literally more prosperous, like maybe you help people make money somehow. But there's an overall vibe of feeling more abundant by having you in their corner, you in their life, and you as someone who is important to them, and that you give people strength in a lot of ways. So if someone is feeling weak or down again, and they call you and talk to you, or they spend time with you, they feel revived and rejuvenated. And so I feel called to say that, for some of you, you may have too many people relying on you, and that's not going to be for everybody, but I do feel a little bit of an overwhelming energy where, you may have a lot of people coming to you and it may be too much. And while it is, in some ways rejuvenating for you, I think it can deplete you too. Like it just can be a lot. And in order to be at your best, you can't be giving to people 24 hours a day. So some of you need to know that, or you already do know that. And it's just your reminder, but there's so much abundance energy here. And yes, abundance can always talk about money, but it can talk about other things too. And since we're talking about feelings here and how you make people feel, you make people feel like they have more in their life. You really, really add to people's life in a really big, massive way. You come through very vivid. And so I think if like someone in your life doesn't talk to you for a little bit, they just can't stop thinking about you. They're like, I have to talk to group one. Like I need that energy. So that's really interesting too. And I think that's honestly where I'm going to leave it, group one. So I really hope that this was helpful and that it helped you remember how amazing you are and how special you are. If you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hi, group two. You chose the Smithsonite and the Desert Illuminations Tarot. Welcome to your reading. We're looking at what people in your life love about you and how your presence makes them feel. I gave these cards a good shuffle, so we are ready to get into it. We're going to look at how people in your life see you and your energy. If that doesn't connect, try another group. Then we will look at the qualities people admire in you, what you give to others that they appreciate, and how your impact makes people feel. So let's get into it. So for group two, how do people in their life see them and their energy? We've got the Knight of Wands. And the Moon. I kind of want to pull another. No, you know what? We're going to go with those two. Okay. So, we've got some very different energies between the Knight of Wands and the Moon. And I kind of want to start with the Moon a little bit here, but I think that people see you as really intuitive. They see you as either having psychic abilities, always trusting your gut, knowing things that they don't tell you, knowing how things are going to work out. It's like you can sort of see a pattern and already know the outcome, or that's how people perceive you. Also with this moon, with the way that it's mirrored here with these buildings and these dogs makes me think that people in your life see you as sort of mirroring their energy, in the sense that I think they feel very understood by you. And there's a lot of Cancer energy here, and this feeling of nurturing, mothering, caring energy. So I think people feel a lot of that from you. They feel very cared for. With the way that these dogs are sort of like yelling up to the moon, it makes me think that when people have woes, when they're upset or they're feeling unwell in life, in some area of life, physically, emotionally unwell, whatever, they see you as someone that they can turn to. You are someone that people can talk to and feel safe talking to, and they know that you will offer compassion even if you can't fix their problems, and that they definitely come to you. People come to you when they're anxious a lot, I would say. And you're a comforting force, and you really seem to understand what other people go through, and they can feel that from you. So I would say you have a high level of empathy and compassion, and that you may also just have gone through quite a few things in life where you just understand other people's experiences. But I think more than anything, you experience other people's emotional states, and you really understand the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of anger, the feeling of things not going your way. And it's really something people count on you for. So I would say people probably lean on you emotionally, maybe physically as well. They also, it's so interesting because people also see you as a bit of a go-getter, and certainly someone very independent, very self-sufficient. I'm getting a sense of humor here. Like you make people laugh, or they think you're very funny, or you may laugh a lot, and it feels good for other people to experience that sense of humor. You're certainly unusual. And, I was thinking that was going to come through in this group as I chose the deck. And it is. So, even if we just look at this card, like normally in a night card, of course, all decks are different, but you see someone riding a horse, and this is a buffalo. So I think that you do things your own way. And especially when you do take action and you move toward things in life, you don't do things the way I want to say normal people do them. And not that you're not normal, but you're kind of not. And I think that's sort of a compliment, but you're unusual, and that's how people see you. So I think that you must know that. Even if you don't know why sometimes people think that about you, you definitely come across as unique, weird in a good way, a little unusual. You don't do things like everybody else. And it's such an interesting blend of energies because it's so independent, so different, so unique, and yet so understanding of every other person's struggles. It's like you really get it, but part of that is maybe why you come across as so unusual and different. And I think that this group is quite sensitive, and that, you're intuitive. You understand things that other people don't, and you see things that other people don't. You're tuned into something that a lot of people are not tuned into, but at the same time, I think you're very tuned into yourself. And I think that you are incredibly authentic and genuine. And that is how the people in your life see you. And I'm compelled to keep going, but I actually want to just continue because I don't want to do super long readings today. So that's just my personal preference because I've got a lot to do. So, let's talk about more of the qualities people admire in you. Okay, so we have the Eight of Cups and we've got the Two of Swords. Okay, so when it comes to what people in your life admire about you or really love about you, we again have intuition coming forward. So interesting. So a lot of times with the Two of Swords, I do get intuition. And, we have this moon again. We have this person kind of tuning in order. Sometimes it's about making a decision or sitting with things. But people really admire not only your ability to be intuitive, and I think that they learn from you, but also because it seems like you have this ability to really go within. There's some hermit energy coming forward as well. I think that people admire that you have the relationship to yourself that you do, that you are able to go within, that you may be very indecisive, but the reason it's coming through as a good quality is that I think people really admire that you take your time to make decisions, that you are not, you don't tend to be impulsive. While you may care about what other people think, you don't let that determine your decisions. You are prone to going within and doing what's right for you. And again, I think this is how you can come across as quite unique to other people. Some of you may have really good boundaries with these crossed swords, and people really admire that in you as well. I just get this really strong sense for this group that people really learn from you, and they learn from your example. So sure, people could learn from you because you teach things, but it feels like because of the way that you are yourself in the world, and people that know you especially see how you are yourself because they see the most authentic version of you. And it's a really admirable quality because it allows other people to drop some of their fear around being themselves, their fear around expressing themselves in their unique way, and allows them to drop some of their fears around approval, which I think a lot of us probably have. And so even if you're like, no, I am very afraid of not having approval, you come across as not caring, at least a lot of the time or some of the time. And I think that even if you do care, you can't help but express yourself in certain ways that are very much you. And you could present your physical self in an unusual way. Maybe you dress in Western wear. Maybe you have like an old style hairdo, or like you just look different from the norm, or maybe it's just really in how your personality comes across in your decisions and things like that. But another thing that people around you really appreciate and love about you and admire is that you are willing to walk away from things that are not right for you. So I don't know if that's one big thing where you made a big decision and it was like something, with the Eight of Cups, sometimes we see something that is right on paper, but it's not right in your heart. And so maybe there was something where everyone was like, what are you doing? Don't walk away from that. Like it's an amazing job, or it's an amazing relationship, or you're not going to find better. It could be something like this where you still made the decision to leave and actually people really admired you for choosing yourself and choosing what felt right. But it could also be something that you do regularly where over time you have made these decisions where it's like, I'm not going to keep doing things that aren't right for me, even if it makes sense to everybody around me, even if it makes sense to my brain, I just can't. There's something about you where I think partly because you are quite intuitive and quite sensitive, that when something feels wrong, it feels wrong on so many levels, whereas maybe another person can sort of push through. but you reach a point where you can't. And so I think that it's not necessarily something that you have just started to do. It's just that's innately who you are. You can't stick around and do something that's wrong. So you will walk away from relationships that are not healthy. You will walk away from jobs that are not healthy. And yeah, you've probably stuck around too long for some things, right? But like, I think that when you've made these decisions in your best interests, in your soul's best interests, in your feelings, there are people around you who've actually really, really admired that. And what I'm getting is that there are people who you would never guess that they felt that way because they have made it pretty clear that they didn't think it was a good idea, or you've received some judgment from people. But in reality, there's this feeling of admiration and respect for you choosing yourself. And again, there's that really independent energy where it's like, I'm good. I'll figure it out. I can do it myself, even if I'm scared. Okay, let's look at what you give to others that they appreciate. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Star. Okay, so, again, we have two cards with very different energies. So again, I just have this feeling that you have all of these very different specific qualities that people love about you. So on the one hand, there are people in your life that love these things about you. And there are people in your life that love these things about you. And there are people in your life that love that you are so dynamic and different. So that's something. Also, as I was shuffling these cards, I got a lot of feelings of patience. And so I think that's another thing that you give generously to other people. And while you may be impatient sometimes, because everybody is sometimes, I think that you are very, very patient with people in some certain way or in many ways. And that is a gift that you give that people really appreciate in you. So I had to say that as well. With this Ace of Pentacles, it is very possible that you give in financial ways to people, or that you give people really sweet gifts, whether that's big gifts or small gifts, or you're kind of always thinking about people. And I think that, even if you're just giving someone like their favorite candy when you see them or something like that, it comes across as really thoughtful, and people know that they're important to you. And so that's something people really, really appreciate. And also, because this is an ace and there is beginning energy with the ace, I think that for some people, they feel like you are really appreciative of, or really, what's the word? You help them to feel like they can begin things. So when someone's talking about an idea they have, or a project they want to start, or something they want to do, or they're beginning a new job, like anything where there's like a beginning, it seems that you come across as very supportive around this, that you are very encouraging, and that you will come up with the things that are pros, even if you are, there's with Pentacle energy, there can be a lot of pro and con energy where you are maybe a list maker and you're like, well, let's not forget that this is a con. But I think that you're very positive when it comes to people's fresh starts or things that people want to do, even if there is like a tinge of jealousy or something like that, you still can be incredibly supportive because you really want the people in your life to be happy. And that's really lovely. And people really appreciate that about you. And we have this star. So this is a lot of hopeful, healing energy. So I want to get into that. But another thing that kind of coexists with this Ace of Pentacles, again, is this feeling of people putting themselves out there in ways that you're very supportive of. So you're very supportive of people's dreams. And if someone wants to do something public, because sometimes a star can talk about that, you are really supportive around that. You build people up. You remind them of all the wonderful things that they have to give and how they're going to do a great job. But also, there's this just really healing energy that I think a lot of people feel around you, and the people that are in your life really appreciate this. You give people, again, this feeling of patience. You allow people the time and the space and the energy to heal. And that doesn't mean, again, that you're going to allow people all the time in the world. If someone's unhealthy, you're going to walk away. But for those that you love and that you know can, because we're all going through things, we're all healing things, we're all working toward a state of greater balance and harmony, or a lot of people are, maybe not everybody. But you're really patient with people's growth process. And while you may get upset sometimes, it seems that people feel safe changing and growing around you, because another thing is that you don't expect people to stay the same. While, yes, you may appreciate that someone is consistent, if someone is growing and changing, I don't think you're going to hold them accountable for who they used to be. You notice that someone has made a new effort. You notice that someone has changed something, and there's a calming feeling of having you in their life. And this is a gift that you give. Also, there is more energy of abundance, with 17 reducing to 8 in numerology and being an abundant number. And then we have the pentacles here. So again, there's this, you could give in material ways, you could give in financial ways, you could be like a physically comforting presence, because the pentacles is about the physical. So maybe people also really love your hugs. They really feel like comfortable around you, that kind of thing. But also they may feel just more abundant by having you in their life. It enhances their feeling of abundance in general. And it's a comfort. And I think that also you really can build people up sometimes, and you make them feel like a star in your life. I think that you really make the people you love feel important, and they know that they are important to you. So let's look at how your impact makes people feel. Okay, we have the 9 of Wands. Okay, and the Queen of Cups. Okay, again, very calming energy you have. And I feel like some people here are going to fight me on that a little bit. But I think that people in your life find you to be a calming force. And with that said, there is passion in your energy. There is, it's not that you are just peaceful all the time, but I think you do have a calming effect. Maybe your words have a calming effect, or just your energy. But, we have the Queen of Cups, who is, again, a very nurturing. We have this motherly, nurturing energy. You do not have to be, a woman, you do not have to be a mother. It's just that this nurturing energy is coming through you. But and I wouldn't be surprised if there are people here who are not parents, who just have this energy, because it's not coming through as like super parental, but it's coming through as like you're someone that people can lean on. But when we talk about the way it makes people feel, the people in your life feel comforted. They feel like they can rely on you. They feel like they can reach you if they need to. They feel like you're very understanding of their struggles as well as the things that they are excited about. These like swirling rainbows are just making me think of all the different emotions and feelings we have, and how, again, you seem to have a level of understanding around these things, and it makes people feel understood. If they're having a bad day or a good day, you're still going to be there. You're not just there for the good days, and you're not just there for the sad days. But with this Nine of Wands, typically in this card, we see someone who is not necessarily doing that well. They're kind of tired. They've done a lot of work. They're a little beaten down. They may be injured. And so, we could say that, again, people feel very comforted by you. But this card depicts a different kind of Nine of Wands. And there's this woman placing her face on this pottery. And I think, again, you just have this really calming energy where even when things are intense, people feel like they can lean on you and feel a little bit better, or they can talk to you and feel a little bit better. Again, it's not that you're solving everyone's problems for them. You may be doing some of that, but it's more that you have a calming influence. You are very understanding, and you are very present and there for people. And it makes them feel like they have someone to rely on and someone to lean on. And again, we have this really strong energy of you being unusual and not like the average person. And, there's a little bit of a specialness. I think the people in your life that know that you have chosen them, or you continue to choose them, also feel very special because you are special. And everybody's special in their own way, but there's something about you that's just different from everybody else. And, we could say that about everybody. Everybody's different, but some people are just more different. And I think that you are. And that's another thing that is sort of important to people around you, because when you've chosen them, they do feel chosen, and they do feel special. And there's a lot of appreciation for you being who you are, and that if you weren't in the lives of the people you're in, it would be a huge, devastating loss for them. And I think that there is a chance that some people take you for granted, which again can happen to anybody. But I think that because you're so understanding and you have a great deal of compassion and this kind of thing, that there are certainly people that come into your life that take advantage of that, or they just have their own issues, and so they're not appreciative of it. I am getting a lot of appreciation energy, but I'm also noticing that you may draw in, you might magnetize in some people who aren't meant to be there, which again, I see you kind of leading on this Eight of Cups and removing things and people from your life when you realize that they're not right for you. But I think also there are people who very much love you and appreciate you, who still probably at times take you for granted a little bit, because I think that it's so seamless in the way that you're there for people that only by you not being there would they realize what a huge impact you have on their day-to-day life or their life in general. Again, I get very appreciative energy. I think you are very loved, very appreciated, and that you have an incredible impact on the people that care about you. And at the same time, I don't think people realize consciously how much you are giving and how much you do for others. But overall, you're so unique and lovely, and your energy is very comforting for me to read. It's very peaceful. So I'm grateful for that. And you've had a positive impact on me today. So group 2, I hope this helps you remember how wonderful and special you are. If you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful in any way, let me know. Like the video or leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you again soon. Okay? Bye. Hi, group 3. You chose the disco ball and the kawaii tarot. Welcome to your reading. We are looking at what people in your life love about you and how your presence makes them feel. So I gave these cards a good shuffle, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with how people in your life see you and your energy. If that doesn't connect to you, try another group. Then we'll look at qualities people admire in you, what you give to others that they appreciate, and how your impact makes people feel. So let's get started. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have the Queen of Cups. Okay, wow. Well, not dissimilar energy from group 2. Lots of cups energy. So I think that people definitely see you as being emotionally mature, but also having emotional awareness and wisdom. So you're not someone who seems closed off. It is possible that people that don't know you very well see you as closed off, but people that are in your life and know you see you as being open, expressive of your emotions, understanding of your emotions and other people's. You know, the Queen of Cups has motherly, nurturing energy, regardless of your gender. This is certainly coming through. But of course, you could be a mother, and you could identify as a woman. But yeah, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there are people here with kids. Some of this energy definitely feels like you could have kids, you could have pets, or you could just be very caring to the people in your life. I would say that I don't feel this energy is super isolated. So I think that whether you live with people or not, you probably either spend a good amount with other people or talking to other people. I don't get a lot of hermity energy, although I do get some introvert energy. So you come across as very generous. And so people see you as being very generous. You give a lot. And I think that you may give in physical ways. I mean, look at this little, the way this little creature is handing a sugar cube to this little whale. I think that you give in physical ways. You may be the type of person who likes to make food for other people or likes to drop off food. You may also just be giving in your listening of other people's emotional states, because again, we have all this cups energy, but it could be too that you love to make people a cup of tea when they come over, or you may just drink a lot of tea, but you have a coziness to you as well. And I wonder if you think that you don't, but you do. So it's interesting because I sort of get an energy for some of you where you're very like maybe affectionate and touchy and people lean on you, and some where you're not that way, but people have like an urge to do that for some reason. But there may be, you know, with this clamshell that we have here, there may be times where you do sort of clam up and need alone time and need to have space, because I do think you're very giving of your energy, and sometimes without realizing it, it may be too much and you need to hide away. So again, we get that kind of introvert energy here. You may have a really beautiful space, or you're good at like, maybe you take very beautiful photos of things, or you have an eye for things looking good, or you make things that look really cool. I do think there's a creative side to this group, and that people see that in you as well. Also with the yellow here, there's a lot of happy, joyful energy. So I'm not saying that you are always happy or that you are always lifting people's spirits up and always optimistic, but I think people feel happy around you, and that they see your energy as happy or light, or they can laugh with you. I do think there are certainly moments where you're darker as well, and that you've kind of like, you go into the depths of yourself or into the depths of feeling or even into the depths of anxiety and things like that. But you seem to have a pretty overall positive influence on the people around you. And I think that the closer people are to you, the more they get to experience the light, joyful parts of you. And yeah, you have really comforting energy. It's very nice. So let's look at what qualities people admire about you. The Knight of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. You know, I'm like noticing suddenly I'm like, I want a snack in the middle of this reading. I think, again, there are definitely people here who like to feed other people. You may make really good food. You may be a good cook, or you just like to nurture by feeding people, or what you do with people a lot of times is eat together. And that's certainly coming through. But with this Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, again, there's a lot of very generous energy with you. And so I think people really admire your ability to give, and that you give in really thoughtful ways. Or you are very generous. You give a lot. And I think that some people are not that generous. And so but they still may appreciate that in you. They may be like, wow, I wouldn't give to that degree. Like, wow, I don't like to share that much, that kind of thing. And so they admire that you are so willing to give. There is a little bit of energy of someone could be an oldest sibling, in this group, but you obviously don't have to be, but there's some oldest energy here, but kind of like not bossy oldest, but like generous oldest. Because I think a lot of times the oldest child does have to be a little bit more generous, or they learn to be, because, you know, they have to share with the siblings that come down the line. But I want to talk about the Knight of Swords and this energy of accomplishing things and having a clear mind. So people really admire your decisiveness, and you may not see yourself that way. I don't know, but other people seem to see that. It's like when you get an idea in your head, you go full force. You're like, nothing's going to stop me. There does seem to be a little bit of impulsiveness with you, but I don't get overall impulsive energy. So it feels more like when you have a spark, an idea, something you want to move toward, you just go. And it's like when you go down a research rabbit hole, you go all the way to the end. When you want to accomplish a task, you not only accomplish it, but you like learn everything about it. You do side quests on this task that other people wouldn't even have thought to do. You go full force down certain things, and when you have certain ideas and thoughts. And I think that when a thought comes into your brain that you want to pursue, you become a little single-minded for a little while. And so I think that there could be a little bit of a fixation that happens with you, but it's coming through because people admire that. They're like, wow, you got that done quick. Or like, you really learned everything about that, and now you're teaching me about it, because you're also very generous with these things these rabbit holes you go down, these things that you accomplish. And it feels like with these little clouds blowing you this way, it feels like you have the support of the spiritual world behind you when you want to accomplish a task. And even if it's like, you know, we've got the Knight of Swords going in this direction, and a lot of times I feel like in tarot, we're going kind of this way. So it kind of feels like even if you were going this way, when something hits you and you need to turn around and go this way, you're like, I'm going. So people really admire your determination, your speed with getting certain things done, your motivation, your inspiration, the way that you follow your ideas all the way through. Because you think about a lot of people who give up on things pretty quickly, and you may do that with some things, but I think that, and you may be thinking that you always do that, but actually, so if this is your group, I think that what you do is you've pursued a lot of things, but you pursue something sort of to the end. And it's not like, okay, I'm going to learn woodworking and I'm going to learn it so well that I build an entire house and that becomes my career. It's more like you learn the ins and outs of the parts of it that intrigue you and other parts of it, and then you move on to the next thing. So people seem to really like that about you. That's why it's coming through. And again, there's this energy of you decorating a space really nice or making a space feel really cozy and nice. Or again, like, I don't know, it's like, oh, if you make a gift basket for people, it is the cutest, most perfect gift basket. It's like, there's a little bit of perfectionist energy here, I'll be honest. But people like that about you. Yeah, I don't know if you like it about you, but because you put so much of yourself into the things that you do and you make things so nice, it's just it's a nice gift for other people, whether it is an actual gift or not. You are either put together yourself or you put things together in some certain way. And that doesn't mean everything about your life is like, anally clean and perfect, but that certain things are. So I don't know, you may have like a messy kitchen, but the things that you made in that kitchen are stunning and delicious. You know what I mean? So let's see what you give to others that they appreciate. Queen of Pentacles, not surprised to see that. And the Six of Cups. Okay. Yeah, you could have any sign. I mean, we have different signs showing up. We don't really have a lot of fire, but I do think there are some earth signs here, maybe Virgo especially. But there could be water signs here too. Anyway, we have this Queen of Pentacles. So much of this Queen of Pentacles energy has been coming forward in this reading. So I'm happy to see this here because it's just confirming things for me. So again, there is this feeling that you like to feed people or you like to give people things, or that you are physically comforting to be around, and that you more than likely either have a really comfy, cozy space or a beautiful space, or you know how to make things beautiful. All of that is here still. You may also be financially doing well. You may give to people in that way, or you may give people, like you may pay for things for people, or you may buy them gifts, or you may make them things. Like if you knit, maybe you make them a scarf or a sweater. You definitely seem to give in physical ways. And people are really appreciative of this. If you're making them things, they're using them and they love them. I think that that's really how you give your love in a lot of ways, and how people feel your love, and that people feel very safe around you. So you give that to other people, which is lovely. I think that people feel very comfortable, and you may even notice that there are people who come through your life that feel very comfortable being assholes too, like because you are safe, because you are comfortable, and because people get triggered by different things. There are some people who feel very comfortable being like a jerk to you when they would not be to other people. So just something that's coming through. But the people that you choose to be in your life are really appreciative of the fact that they can be themselves, that they are approved of and loved for who they are, that you are very generous with them, and that they feel safe and protected. And again, there's that sort of nurturing and motherly energy that comes through. And, we did see some of that in group 2. So you may have messages there as well. And we have this Six of Cups. So again, there's this feeling of safety coming through, of feeling like, the Six of Cups sometimes can actually be about this. And it's because there are children typically in this card, and it can talk about a lot of different things. But one thing is your inner child. And so I think that with you, people can kind of let that part of themselves out. Like they feel safe enough that they don't have to be buttoned up all the time, that they can be a little playful, they can be jokey, they can let themselves be taken care of in the ways that you like to take care of people, and that this may also bring that aspect out in you. So it's possible that you could be quite serious at times, and then around the people you love is when you really loosen up. But I do think there is a serious side to you, certainly. I mean, there's probably a serious side to everybody, but you're not someone who's just loose all the time. I definitely do not think that is the case, but I think that you have a lot of fun with the people in your life, and that you give. That's another way that you give, is you give a fun and you give a playfulness, and that while you do come across as very responsible and mature in a lot of ways, and people really feel safe and can lean on you, I think that the people in your life really love having fun with you, and that they love laughing with you. And again, we have these cups. So I think that people love to eat with you, and they love to eat your food. And I wonder if there's going to be someone here who's like, what are you talking about? Like, I am a terrible cook. That might not be your message, but I think that the majority of people who this reading is for do like to share food. So even if you don't cook, I think that you really enjoy eating with other people. And I think that this is a group where, there is a little bit of picky energy coming forward, but I want to say that when it comes to like food and enjoyment of that side of life, you're not picky, and that you probably tend to enjoy other people in your life who also aren't very picky, because you like to enjoy, and again, I'm getting like all the earth signs. You like to enjoy the sensual things in life, eating and smelling and all of that stuff. So that's cute. And I think that, that also brings me to, you may really like perfume or scent. I wonder if you lean more toward natural scents versus artificial, but that you may have a good amount of essential oils in your collection, or you like aromatherapy, or you like wearing scents, or you like cooking because of the smells that it produces. But I wonder too if there are people here who really like floral scents, but again, I'm thinking very natural scents probably. But it's like, for some reason with this group, anytime I start to say something, I also get the opposite. So it's like, some of you are like, no, I don't like scent. I don't like perfume. I wonder if that kind of energy is coming through here because you don't like when people tell you about you or something. Like, you don't like being told who you are. And you definitely don't like when people have incorrect impressions of you and tell other people those impressions. And who would? Nobody likes that. But that seems to be coming through strongly here where, I don't know, you really, of course, I mean, everybody probably wants this, right? But you really want to be seen for who you are and seen for your positive qualities. And again, I feel like for some reason, there's been people in your orbit who have decided, because they feel safe being jerks around you for some reason, they either see negative things in you and spread those things or something like that. So I don't know, that could be here for somebody, but the energy of the people who love you is, oh my God, they love you so much. So let's see how your impact makes people feel, the people in your life. We have the World. And we have the Fool. Okay, so we have two major arcana. So the first thing that I want to say is that your impact is really huge on the people in your life, and that I think there's a great deal of fulfillment that you offer people. I think that you don't leave people wanting. So that can show up in a few different ways. Like, you're not mysterious. You might be mysterious to people you don't know very well, but the people in your life, like long-term friends, family, that kind of thing, they're not left wanting. You give in a lot of ways, but you also, again, you give of your feelings. So you are honest about how you feel and think about things. You seem to be quite honest in general. You're open about the things that you are excited about. You're very giving and generous. And I think that you're quite available to the people that you care about. And so it brings this really strong sense of completion and fulfillment and authenticity. So again, and safety. I think that people feel very safe. So the people that love you and that you love, they feel comforted by your energy. They feel like you are multifaceted in all of these really beautiful ways. Not that you are inconsistent or that you are different day to day. I mean, of course, everyone has different emotions, but that overall they know what to expect with you, and that you seem to be very multi-talented, or at least that's how people see you. So they feel like they could come to you with a lot of different things. They could come to you for comfort, for advice, for sharing a meal, or if they are feeling generous and they want to give to someone, they know that you will appreciate that generosity. So it's just really wonderful energy. And I think that you also make people feel this kind of fresh feeling, like your energy and what you give and how you are and who you are, that doesn't exist in everybody. Of course it doesn't. But, there's a lot of disappointing people in this world. So I think that people who have been disappointed a lot feel this really fresh, rejuvenating, restorative energy around you. And so you make people feel alive and fresh and lit up. And I think that, whether you're very encouraging of things that they're dealing with, or you just offer a lot of comfort, or they just like hanging out with you and spending time with you, you brighten the lives of the people around you. You really light up the people that love you. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if there's quite a few people that love you a lot, or that either you make friends easily, or it's really more like you make long-term friends, I think. So yeah, there could be some people who come and go, but once people recognize these qualities in you, they're there for life. I think that you probably have a good amount of long-term relationships, that you're probably on good terms with your family or people that you grew up with. Like, even if these are like friends from childhood or something, you definitely seem to have this energy of long-term friendships and people wanting to stick around for the long haul. And I think that people really want to give back to you too. You make people feel more generous themselves. You inspire the light in other people. So if you're getting excited about something, I think that it makes other people also get excited about things and feel like they can share those things with you. I think that this group may be somewhat talkative, or at least with the people they love. While you do have some quiet energy in some ways, I think you're maybe a little bit chatty, but you really make people feel joyful, appreciated, and fulfilled is the word that keeps coming forward. So I really loved spending this time with you, group 3, and I think that's all I've got for you. So I hope this helps you remember how special and incredible and amazing you are. If you enjoyed this reading or found it helpful, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, but I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.